Hello, children. Welcome to our English class. I hope everyone is safe and secure. In today's class, we are going to see a lesson called Chair, written by K. Rajanarayanan. What is so special about this story? Yes, there is something. It's written by a Tamil writer. I hope you understand by his name itself, Rajanarayanan. The story will be a familiar story to us because the words used in this story, the background, and everything is based on Tamil Nadu and its culture. Before we enjoy this story, let us see something about the author. Rajanarayanan, popularly known by Tamil initials as Kira, is a Tamil folklorist and a prolific author. The short story The Chair is written in 1969 and its original title is Narkadi. The novels Gopala Gramam and its sequel Gopalapurathu Makkal are among his most acclaimed. He won the Sahitya Academy Award for the latter in 1991. As a folklorist, Kira spent decades collecting folk tales from the Karisalkadu and publishing them in popular magazines. In 2007, the Tanjavur based publishing house Annam compiled these folk tales into a 944-page book, the Natapura Kadai Kalanjiyam, which means the collection of country tales. As of 2009, he was published around 30 books. A selection of these were translated into English by Preetham K. Chakravarti and published in 2009 as Where Are You Going? You Monkeys. So these are some of the folk tales from Tamil Nadu. And here we go. So read the following story about a family that doesn't have a chair. Perhaps the entire village hasn't seen a chair. The narrator amusingly narrates their plan of actions and the aftermath humorous incidents that happened after the arrival of the chair. A house without a chair. Suddenly everyone in our house began to feel this way. That was it. It was put on the family agenda and discussions began. The story started with a question, a house without a chair. So now we have so many models of chairs in our home, and we have sofa set and so many things we have seen. But in those days, there were hardly a few chairs in some aristocratic's home, but not in everybody's home. And especially in village, there was no chance to witness any chair at all. So the narrator explained that the people in his house were discussing about the chair and they planned to have it at their house. The day before, a family friend had paid us a visit. He was couldn't he have come like one of us in a vesti and shirt? No, he arrived in suit boot and all. There was only a three-legged stool in our house. It measured a mere 3/4 foot. To churn curd, Party, our grandmother, would sit only on it. She was quite heavy. Our grandfather had asked the carpenter to make it somewhat broader. The reason for the discussion about the chair was the visit of their family friend. Yes, of course, he was also known as a sub-judge. He came in a coat suit unlike others who were in normal vesti and shirt. There was only a three-legged stool in their house. Their grandma used the stool when she used to prepare the buttermilk. She was quite heavy, so the grandfather had asked the carpenter to make it somewhat broader. The subject too was a little portly. Since we did not possess any other furniture, we brought that for him. Placing one hand on its edge, he made to sit down. One wretched thing about the stool. If you didn't place the weight exactly above the legs, it would topple over. Ever so many times we had fallen down when we stood on it carelessly to steal a ghee from the rope net. Poor thing. Just as we were about to caution the sub judge, he fell down with a thud and rolled over. Me, my brother, and my little sister couldn't contain our giggles. So we ran to the back garden. Just as we thought our chuckles had subsided, our sister would mimic the sub judge, leaning her hand and rolling on the floor. Our laughter only lengthened. Like the grandma, the subject also were too sportly, which means stocky. The word is used to refer to gents who are fat and heavy. There was no chair in their house. They brought the stool for him to sit. He placed on its edge to sit. Actually, if we can't place our weight exactly about the legs, it would topple. Topple over means cause to overbalance and fall. The narrator recollected all the good memories when they used to steal ghee from the rope net. They had fallen down many times when they stood on the stool carelessly. So they were about to caution him, but unfortunately he fell down and rolled over. So he and his brother and little sister couldn't control their laughter. So they ran towards the backyard, and after that, their sister used to mimic or recreate the comic scene, which further made them to laugh for a long time. There was another reason for our giggles. The memory of our parents suppressing their giggles in front of the guest who had tumbled over. So, when we finished laughing on everyone's behalf and pussyfooted into the house, the stout guest was not to be seen, and neither was the stool. Did he take it away with him? Asked my sister to me. The narrator said that they had laughed enough on behalf of others and they entered again like a cat. That is what it is mentioned as pussyfooted. The guest had gone already and the stool was not there. So the sister asked him hilariously if he had taken the stool along with him. After this incident, it was decided that a chair would be made for our home. The one practical difficulty in getting it made was that there wasn't a single chair in our village to show as a model. Besides, there wasn't a single carpenter either who knew how to make one. So, after this incident, the family decided to have a chair on their own. Unfortunately, there was not a single chair in the village to show as a model. Even there was no a single carpenter to know to make a chair. No problem. We can buy one from the town, suggested my brother Pedanna. Our father rejected it, saying it wouldn't be sturdy. Attai, our aunt, said that there was a skilled carpenter in the neighboring village, that there wasn't a chair he hadn't made, and that the governor himself had praised him. The narrator's brother Pedanna suggested to buy a chair from the town, but his father rejected the suggestion because he felt that it wouldn't be in a good condition. His aunt suggested that there was a good carpenter who knew how to make a chair, and she also added that the governor himself had already praised him for that work he has done. When my mother heard my aunt's second sentence, she turned her face as if to say, "Yes, yes, she has seen everything." My father called a worker, dispatched him to the carpenter's village, and came and sat with us. Now there was discussion on the kind of wood to be used for the chair. On hearing the statement of the aunts, the narrator's mother mockingly said, as if the aunt had seen everything. Then the father called a worker and sent him to the next village where the skilled carpenter was making the furniture. So they had a discussion about a kind of wood to be used for the chair. Teak is the best. That's what will be light to lift and carry around and be sturdy at the same time, said her grandmother, pressing her stretched legs. Her party was extremely fond of her legs. She was forever stroking them. Grandmother said that teak would be best as it is easy to carry and lift, and also it will be sturdy at the same time. At the moment, our maternal uncle Mamanar walked in. Peddana ran and brought the stool. For a while, the spluttered into giggles before things settled down. Mamanar himself found a spot to sit where he visited our house, chop off his head, and he would still sit there and nowhere else. He would lean against the pillar adjoining the wall to the south of the storeroom. The first thing he would do as soon as he sat down was to loosen his tuft, give it a good shake, scratch his head, and tie it back tightly. He observed this ritual unfailingly. Then he would inspect the floor around him. Didn't see any money falling from your head, Anna would say with an impudent smile. So here, spluttered means cackled, make a series of short sounds. Impudent means disrespectful. When the discussion was going on, there arrived their maternal uncle, also can be called as Mamanar. When Peddana brought the stool, everyone in the house spluttered into giggles because they all thought of the funny incident of the stool which made the judge to fall down. The Mamanar used to sit in a regular place. He would loosen his tuft, gave it a good shake, scratched his head, and tied back tightly. And he would inspect the floor as if some money had fallen from his head, which is noted by Anna with impudent smile. Impudent smile means disrespectful smile. He would always be pierced with such paper arrows whenever he visited us. He would sit mum with a smile, like a stone pillar, as if to say, "You are all my relatives. If you don't tease me, who will?" When our ridiculous overstepped the limits, Amma would return to chide us. The last word always ended in, "You donkeys." As soon as Momna sat down, Amma went towards the kitchen. Like a lamb, Appa followed her. In a while, Amma appeared in the passage, a silver tumbler of buttermilk seasoned with asafoetida in her hand, followed by Appa, who, unseen by her, apped her movements for our benefit as if to say, "Her brother has come, it seems. Look at her taking buttermilk for him with so much care." The aroma of the buttermilk and the asafoetida made us want to drink it right away. They happily used to tease one another. There is a famous saying, Aditi Devo Bhava, which means a great tradition in India, which is followed by all over, especially in Tamil Nadu. It is considered as a foremost duty. So it's our duty whenever the guest comes to your house, we need to give something like coffee, tea, or at least water. So in this story, whenever the maternal uncle used to pay a visit, their mom would give buttermilk seasoned with asafoetida. Everyone in the house loved to drink it. Their father would recreate her at her backseat, which was unseen by her, but others would enjoy the act. We believed that Mamanar visited us mainly to drink buttermilk. The buttermilk from our cow was the divine. Besides, we thought that our uncle was the stingiest person in the village. We firmly believed he never gave away anything to anyone. He himself had gone to Kannavaram to buy this famed black tongued milk cow for his sister. My younger brother and sister doted on its calf. Whenever he came over and just before he left, he always went around the cow, gave it a pat. He was afraid his own evil eye would fall in it, and uttered words of praise even if he was thrifty with them. My little siblings always had this big fear that once the milk dried up, the cow would be taken away to his house along with the calf. The anticipation of this imagined separation only increased their for the calf and their bitterness towards Mamanar. Whenever he released the buttermilk, the small children punched and pinched with their very stars. Sometimes they believed that Mamanar used to visit only to drink the buttermilk. They also believed that he was the sixth person never gave anything to anyone else. He only brought the cow from the village Kannavaram and gave to his sister. All in the house, they are very much fond of their its calf. Calf means the little one. Whenever he used to visit their house, he would give it a pat and praise them. They all worried if once the milk dried up, the cow and the calf would be taken away by the Mamanar. So the children would punch and pinch with their looks whenever he used to enjoy the buttermilk. Okay, children, the first part of the story ends here. We will continue in the next video class. Till then, take care. Bye bye.